Thanks, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. Our next guests are the actress and director behind the fantastic new female-led action film on Netflix, Close. In it, Noomi Rapace plays a bodyguard who gets involved in a plot to kill the daughter of a recently deceased mining CEO. It's crazy. Let's take a look.
The terms of your father's will are explicit, that you take an active role in the company.
The shares, how much are they worth?
We need to assign you a new close protection officer.
Am I supposed to know who you are?
Sam, nice to meet you.
You should know there's been a recent increase in kidnap and ransom. You're great company.
I've decided to proceed. Report only to me, understood?
Zoe, stay low, okay? Come on.
Where are you taking us?
Let's get one thing straight. I no longer work for you. From now on, you do as I say.
The job's over. Why are you still here?
She has no one. You have to fight back. Fight back.
I can't do this.
Friends should trust each other.
Promise me. I promise.
Thanks so much, everybody. Welcome Noomi Rapace and Vicky Jewson of Close. Thanks so much for being here. Congratulations on this project, on this movie. Congratulations on killing yourself for a movie. I mean, it's incredibly well made. It's a phenomenal action film, but one of the things you walk away from is just going, God, she can do anything. Like, so much of the film is you kicking the shit out of people, diving into tanks of water, getting blown up. Do you look for projects that test your physical capabilities?
I think I'm looking for projects that challenge me and that requires that I have to dig into something where I'm not really comfortable to be. I like to challenge myself.
What were you not comfortable with this?
Well, I'm scared of water. We just talk about it. I mean, that whole world to live to protect someone else and to be able to find in myself that I'm ready to die for someone else. In a world, the world we're living in is very ego, People are so obsessed with themselves and, look at me, like me, and this whole,
Very individualistic.
Yeah. So to start to get to know those very brave and amazing people that are bodyguards, it was a universe and a whole different dimension that I was not aware of, and it was pretty amazing to be able to step into that and to become a part of that.
Yeah. We very much saw eye to eye from when we first met about the world that we wanted to create. We wanted it to be authentic and character driven. So when she's really killing herself, she's really doing it. We wanted that reality behind a fight, which I don't think you see often in action with women. That, if you get punched, it bleeds, it looks ugly, you fail, but you persevere. And then that in itself is a very engaging, empowering thing to see on screen, I think.
You've always been someone who does her own stunts, right? How do you get that done? How do you make sure directors are okay with that your team is okay with that? Because oftentimes people are like, absolutely not. The insurance company says no.
I mean, a lot of times my team doesn't know what I do on set, and they learn about it later, and they get quite mad. I broke my nose on a film. a toe. I have scars. I mean, basically everywhere.
You have to tell Noomi when to stop.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you really do.
But I'm very like, I mean, if I decide to do something, I'll do anything and everything I can to do it as good as possible. And I want everything to feel real. My goal in life and when I'm working is to be as honest as I can. And if I can do a fight scene, then I feel like it's real, and the character could have done it as well, instead of having an amazing stunt woman that comes in and does something that is just spectacular and fantastic, but I would never be able to do it. So I think that's something we have in common, that we want it to feel authentic and raw. And
Are you a thrill seeker in real life as well, off camera?
yes.
Really? Like skydiving or bungee jumping?
No, I know more emotionally.
So in real life, it's just emotional manipulation in games.
Yeah.
On film, it's fighting and action.
I
Okay,
take
got
out
it.
that side over there.
I think for most actors, it's the other way around, right? Yeah. So this is a story about bodyguards. It's also about capitalism and about a mining company and the proliferation of minerals and exploitation of that. Where did the story come from for you? How did this come about?
Well, I was looking for a woman in the real world who had an extraordinary job, and that's when I met Jacquie Davis, who's the female bodyguard who inspired the film. And she gave me an insight into her world, and it was much more than looking after VIP clients. It was child rescue, it was hostage stuff, it was counter-terrorism stuff. And I asked her what would be one of the main reasons why a young person is taken. And she said corporate ransom is probably 90% of the call-outs that they get. And I found that fascinating because it all happens underground. We never read about it in the press, we never hear about it, but all these deals, these shady deals, are continually going on in that world.
And just the word itself, corporate, immediately makes you feel like no black market things are happening there. Like they're manipulating the markets most likely and up to sort of white collar crimes, but you don't imagine any kind of actual crimes like kidnapping going on with corporations.
No, it feels unreal, doesn't it? It feels like a movie, but
You would be shocked if you heard the stories that Jacquie, that my character is based on, her life story and what she's seen and what she's done and the people she protected. And I mean, it's just, I couldn't believe it first. It's like 5 films in there. So you're kind of peeking into a quite dark world.
Did you spend a lot of time with her?
Yeah. I had, I think from the first meeting we had and until we started shooting was like a year.
yeah.
So I was like meeting her over a time, spread over like 9 months or 8 months. And slowly, she's a quite reserved person, and it takes a while to get under the surface. But she was also on set, you know, so she was very close to me and kind of guiding me and helping me. If I was off track, if she didn't believe anything, she came to us and she's like, no, that would never happen. We wouldn't do it that way. And then we corrected it and adjusted it. So she was very much a part of this, and it was very important for us that she and her colleagues can watch this film and say, yes, that's how it is.
Yeah, she really wanted to make sure that we got it right on screen, that her colleagues would see it and say, yes, that's authentic and that's correct. And
saying like, don't do the Hollywood version.
yeah, exactly.
What would the Hollywood version be?
I mean, it would be a pretty girl, and like, you know, kind of throughout the film looking good and not having any, you know, not. I mean, for us, it was very important that it's whatever, as you said, like if I get hit in the face, it will show and it will stay in the face.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like you're in a fight scene and then,
it's
by
gone
the next scene,
day.
you're like,
Yeah.
And also that, you know, Sam hardly uses weapons in the film at all, because in reality, bodyguards don't reach for those unless it's a last degree. So it's more about thinking. I mean, a real bodyguard is all about planning. If they're in a situation where something's gone wrong, they feel they've failed. So we tried to convey in all our action sequences Sam thinking and trying to be intelligent about what decisions she made to control that situation.
Yeah, and I spoke to her a lot about fear. I asked her once, are you scared? And she said, in the moment, never. It comes afterwards. And she said, it's a decision. It's all in my mind. So, and that's something I bring with me now. Like I've been here for a couple of days and I'm working with a director in Brooklyn, and I was like walking, and when it was dark, I was going to walk to his house because I like walking, and then I got really scared, and then I thought about Jacquie. I was like, what would she do? You know, you need to be aware of what's going on around you to see what's coming towards you. I mean, if someone would attack me, what would I do? And it's like this kind of rational thinking to just like force your fears away and then become a rational thinking human that just like have strategies and ways out, sort of.
You know, one of the things I feel like if this film were made 10 years ago, it would be a completely different movie. I mean, for obvious reasons, but also for the reasons of how a woman is depicted as the lead and as an action star. You would be dressed differently. You wouldn't have the scars on your face throughout the movie. What is it like to sort of be in a moment in time where you can depict a woman realistically?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have made the film if I couldn't have shown it in that way. So I'm particularly passionate about seeing women in action as it would be in real life, as opposed to with the high heels on or having to use sex as a way to draw the audience in. And when we were packaging the movie...
Oh, yeah, there would have been some terrible scene where she had to seduce someone to get them, and then beat them up after seducing.
Exactly.
The sex scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, we really wanted that whole, the male-female vibe was not the key in this movie. It was the sisterhood between Sam and Zoe. Yeah. So for me, I don't suppose I would have ever made that movie, because for me, this was how I always saw it.
What about for you as an actress, though, to know that in making something like this, you are in the hands of someone who's going to do it justice and also not succumb to the male gaze, which is usually how action movies have been since really the beginning.
From the first meeting we had, that was something I think both of us recognized with the other one straight away. Like, we're like-minded. We have a similar take on the world and on the industry and on what we want to do. So I think we started like a partnership right there straight away.
It totally felt like that. It was sort of like love at first sight. And we really were, it was a tough shoot. It was a very relentless, hot, sweaty desert shoot.
And I didn't have a double. I did everything. So normally you would have like a stunt woman or a double that does some things, running just up a hill or whatever, but I did everything. So, I mean...
She wasn't even like a stunt woman there, like waiting to do stuff. So I was like, can I please get in there?
So in the end of this shoot, we were quite... I felt like I was just... Do you remember that? I was really... I had like fever. I was like kind of broken.
You were slightly broken. But the way we got through it was as a team.
Yeah.
I think we really trusted
like
each other.
I was delirious. Like I couldn't really focus and I just this... But you don't have an option. It's like you could just got to keep going. And I felt like I some days, Noomi, where Noomi started and where Sam started and ended, like I wasn't really sure. I came back to my hotel in Morocco and I was just... kind of floating between the two worlds, and it was intense. But I think the fact that I had such a strong partner in Vicky made it, even in those darkest moments, like joyful. And that's what I'm always looking for. And I feel very blessed of, you found me and we found each other.
Well, ditto.
When you reached out to Noomi to be a part of the project, what kind of conversations did you have with her? What was like your first objective in terms of learning about her and knowing that she would be right for the part?
Well, I already instinctively felt she would be amazing for the part. I'm a huge fan of Noomi's work and what she brings to the screen. I think she has this intensity and this honesty emotionally, which is quite rare. So I was very excited to meet with Noomi, and I kind of had to pitch in a room in LA to get in the door with Noomi. So by the time I was sat down with her in London, it was much more about, I guess, if we clicked as people and we shared the same vision. I think as a director, you're at your best if you're surrounded by people that have the same vision for the film as you, because
if you're shooting in 5 weeks in Morocco
and England exactly, and when you hit a disagreement, then you're trusting that person's voice because you all ultimately want to make the same movie, so you're all pulling in the same direction. And I think that was a real key behind all the major relationships on this film.
We keep talking about I keep talking about the action and all of the stunts that you do, but there's also incredible emotional work that you have to do in the film as well.
Yeah, that was a key for me to like when I committed to this. I didn't want to do another action film. I'm not so into action. It needs to have layers. It needs to be about something more. And that was always your goal and your intention, to dig into the emotions and to allow yourself to stay and explore them as well. And Sam is a very complex person. She kind of put her own life on hold, and she's living a life where she's protecting others, and she's always putting herself in danger, but emotionally she's kind of on hold. And to explore that and be on that edge, that was the thrill for me.
We really wanted the character to drive the action. It even went back to when we were writing the film. We didn't want action scenes that didn't mean anything. We wanted to invest in the characters and their journey, and then we felt that the action would resonate on a deeper level. So for me, it was about making an intimate action movie, and that you really felt the emotion that the characters were going through, and you were kind of going on that journey with them.
And also not doing spectacle action.
Yeah.
Right? Like a lot of the action is hand-to-hand fights. it's
Claustrophobic.
yeah, it's claustrophobic. It's not a kind of like destroying an entire city block
No, exactly.
or something. Although that probably would have been fun in some respects.
We would destroy a city quite well together, I think.
Oh, what is it like? So you're doing this movie. It's 5 weeks. You're mainly in the desert in Morocco, and you go from doing a scene maybe one day or maybe in the same day where you're fighting 4 guys to sort of crying on the ground and shaking, convulsing, crying. How do you do that as an actress?
Well, I've been having not days like that in my real life, but you can go from extreme emotions and different states of minds quite quickly. I mean, if you are connected to I always need to connect myself and use something from my life into the situation, translate it into situation, so it feels real for me. So I'm really there, and then you can shorten the transportation time in and out of those moments. So I've been working since I was quite young, and I've done this for a while. So when I was younger, it took me longer. I stayed in emotions, like it really took over my whole life, and I was quite messed up. Sometimes now I'm quite like economic and quite precise with how to get in and out. But it warns you out. I came back to London and I was like, I don't think I saw anyone or spoke to anyone for a week. I mean, I was just in a bubble of like, I need to just find myself again, because you're using. It's almost like you have a battery, and I was like down on. It was like red when I came back to London. I was pretty.
What did you do to pull yourself out of that? Box of macaroni and cheese and Netflix?
I cuddle up next to my son and I watch films. And I fall asleep mostly after 10 minutes in the film. And he's like, Mom, you're sleepy. I was like, no, I'm not. But he is he charges me up.
There is something oddly radical about watching an action film with 2 women who are basically taking up the frame, 90% of the film. It's really in the quick cutaway that like a man is in it, and I found like halfway through that there's just something new about that, and it shouldn't be radical, but you're watching it and you're going like, this is so cool. There's just 2 women having a story, like, because
it's normally always like some kind of sexual game going on, or
will they or won't they, between a male bodyguard and a female bodyguard.
And that was very liberating for me. That it's just 2 people, and they happens to be women. It's not this like we girls that went against the world, because that's also sexist in a way. And this is just that there happens to be 2 women and they're surviving and doing the best they can to survive. And it's
yeah, you're right. There isn't that element of like, we're taking on the world and we're making a statement with this. They just happen to be these 2 women in this scenario who are outsmarting everybody and who are kicking the shit out of everybody as well.
And challenging each other. I think that was what was key, is that they both unlock something in each other. So it's a really positive female relationship and friendship.
But not from the start. I
Not
mean,
from the
that's
start,
something
no.
that was really interesting when I started interviewing and talking to Jacquie. She said, never get attached to your principal, to the person you're protecting. Never. You need to stay. Emotionally, you have to be professional. You can never let it affect you. You can never be involved on a personal level. So no friendship, no sexual, like nothing.
So weird, because you also have to be willing to die for them.
Yeah. That's purely a professional thing. They see that as the ultimate professional sacrifice.
So the moment Sam stays in Morocco with her principal, and when she's actually out of contract, she's crossing the line, and she's not professional anymore. And for her, that is the danger, because she's been kind of always been working after the idea that if you become professional, if you become emotional, you won't be able to be professional. You won't protect as well, because then you will care about the person, and then you can't think rationally. So. That was the point where Jacquie was also like questioning us. She was like, that wouldn't happen.
We kind of had to break bodyguard protocol to make the movie we wanted to make.
That's the moment where you have to look at the consultant and go, I'm sorry, it is a movie. We have to tell a dramatic story here as well.
Yeah.
And what you do, congratulations. It's such a wonderful film. Another great performance by you. It's on Netflix this Friday, right? People can check it out. It's called Close. Please give a big round of applause for Noomi and Vicky. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
Thank you.